Hey all. So, catching up on and finishing off my Season 33 war videos with this one against Next. And we've got a few interesting fights here, and then I'm also going to go over the distribution of which champions I used this season, which I found pretty interesting to go over. So first up, we have Purgatory on this node. This is the combat deja vu node, where if you repeat the same basic attack, you give them a prowess, which also increases their block penetration. I don't want to take more damage on block. I am using Killmonger for more fights, and so you'll see me just doing over and over again medium light, medium light, medium light. Now, it would be nice if she threw her special, so there she does go for one, but that is going to take her closer to Rampage, so she probably is going to go into that. Thanks to getting True Strike up and then blocking another hit, we did have the big attack boost, so throwing that special did a lot of damage. Thankfully, Killmonger is Defiance, so we're not also triggering Mystic Dispersion. I did figure I was probably going to get backed up here. I should have been hitting her block, because I'm pretty sure that doesn't trigger the Prowess, and I just was letting myself lose the space battle too much. But because she was throwing her special ones, didn't really matter all that much. The only thing that you really need to worry about with spacing against Purgatory is if you push her to her special 2 while she's in Rampage, it will be unblockable, and you need space to make that dex simple. So as long as we had our eye on that, we were okay. And actually, it would have been better, because of our indestructible charges, if that had come up, to just go ahead and push her all the way to her special 3, which would only count as one hit and therefore do no damage, as opposed to dealing with the special 2, which has that nasty degen. So then we have this Mixmaster Mordo. Mordo was recently buffed, so he actually punishes True Strike buffs. However, Killmonger's True Strike is a passive, and so we don't have to worry about that. So that is going to allow us to cancel out the evade. Unfortunately, right at the beginning, I made the mistake of only using a medium into his block, which meant that the next attack that I threw, unless he had just, I don't know, really made things easy for me, pretty much had to be a medium, which triggered an evade because of Mixmaster, which therefore caused the degen counterattack. So, perfectly avoidable mistake. I could be sitting at almost 100% health right now if I hadn't done that, but as soon as that's done, this is pretty simple. We have the indestructible boost, we have the indestructible charges here. As long as we have True Strike up, we don't really even have to worry about what we're doing with our combos. And basically, even if we're about to run out of True Strike, as long as he has a bar, we know the spacing on countering the special 1, as you see right there. You just have to be very early on the dex. Or if he has the special 2, both of those allow us to easily get True Strike up. If he does get pushed to the special 3, we won't get True Strike off of that, but we won't take any damage from it because of the Indestructibles. We can parry freely because he can't evade and do his astral evade business that he normally does when you stun him, as long as we have True Strike up. So just a lot of little pieces of this fight that Killmonger just completely turns off. Always getting the True Strike back up as you need it, as soon as he throws a special, is super nice. I don't know what happened right there, because you can tell I did something at the right time that normally would have sent me in for a medium to punish his special. Clearly the input registered as like a light or something. Oh well. As long as you are keeping the tempo of this fight up, then there will probably be another special soon, and then you can just punish that one. Very, very safe fight for Killmonger. Not the fastest at 2 minutes, but definitely not a problematic time either. So I went up and healed up Killmonger to take this Maw. We actually did have a rank 4 Spider-Man 2099 available, which also would have handled the Nullify Mystic Dispersion thing, but Killmonger, being Defiance, basically has that covered. And the important thing here is that Counterpunch is going to give us really easy openings for intercepts and make this fight a lot simpler just from a doing enough damage standpoint. So the important thing is that we need to make sure we're ready to throw heavies. I made a mistake there, I suppose. I thought I threw the heavy early enough, but it just didn't quite respond. Not the end of the world. We were using the regen boost because we were expecting block damage anyway. We'll heal it back up. We just need to make sure we don't make too many other mistakes. So here we go ahead and use a heavy after his special 1. And because you just need to punish the special, you don't have to punish it with a specific attack. That heavy triggers True Strike, which Maw isn't going to evade, so that part doesn't matter. But when we get the reverberation up, because we easily have the True Strike ready to go, then we get that nice big damage boost. Then we use the Counter Punch to immediately go unstoppable as he hits in, and that's what's going to allow us to get the intercept for the node. See here, I decided to go ahead and throw the special 1. I think, yeah, just because I wanted the intercept back. And so I step back into it, even though I know that doesn't count. Throw the heavy there, just barely get in some damage before Falter comes back around. I'm expecting he is going to go into Falter again. That's okay. We're just going to wait it out. You see there, we wait for this intercept. I gotta admit, sometimes if I'm trying to re-parry and I have the counterpunch, I've run into this before, it throws me off just slightly, and I will actually dash out of it, as you saw there. But as long as I'm ready for that, as I was there because it's happened before, then I didn't, try and punish where I shouldn't have. I just waited for my next opportunity, and then I was able to land the heavy. This is not a difficult fight with Killmonger, as long as you know how to throw those heavies after the special ones, and you have the patience to wait out the falters when the timing doesn't line up perfectly, and they do occur. You get some healing from it, you do plenty of damage, easy intercepts. Happily send that again. And I would even send that happily next season when Mystic Dispersion is the new tactic, because Killmonger will still have Defiance for both of those seasons, and therefore will remain a actually very good counter to Ebony Maw. But on the subject of counters that will not work as well next season, we have Tigra here. And that is because as great as she is at shutting down unstoppable armor, and you'll see here me prove again that she really does not need recoil for these fights. Obviously, I am using a rank 4, but watch what the special 2 does. But on the subject of the special 2, watch for how the unblockable buff shows up and then goes away. Every time that happens, it is technically removed. That would trigger the new Mystic Dispersion tactic and put a falter passive on us, which would be catastrophic. But for now, we go ahead and do these heavy counters. We take a little bit of damage, but we're watching the spacing carefully. We're making sure that we get our ruptures up, and 6 of them is enough. We do plenty on the special 2. Down he goes. Now, if that had been a rank 3, we probably would have needed to follow that up with the special 1 that we had there, or maybe one more heavy, but very simple fight, and as she's a rank 4, don't need anything else. So then I want to go over the breakdown of the various champions that I used this season. As you can see, Mr. Fantastic comes in first place at 15 fights, with Killmonger close behind at 14, and Tigra at 13. Those 3 together make up nearly 2/3 of my overall fights, and when you add in Nimrod, you get up to over 75% just with the 4 champions. And that makes sense, right? Tigra beautifully countered so many unstoppable armor fights this season. Mr. Fantastic and Killmonger, in addition to being very strong champions, have the Defiance tag, and so were just useful in even more places than they were before. Those 2 will probably hold going into next season. Nimrod answers a lot of very difficult fights. I'm sure I'll be using him a lot next season too, because he actually can get easy intercepts with the Unstoppable on his special 2, which helps counter Mystic Dispersion for some of the fights, but for the most part, where you use him are going to be characters that are not on that list, so I don't expect his use to drop off. And then we see a good chunk of Odin and Magneto House of X, which helps really drive home the point that I keep making about being able to use your pre-fight champions as a way of making life easier in war. I'm a little sad I didn't use more Claire or She-Hulk, but it was a good season overall. I feel like a good spread of champs. It would make me happy to have more diversity, and maybe I can next season, but I think this was very much what the battle group needed, and it was also fun. So that's everything you want out of war. Anyway, hope you found that breakdown interesting. Hope you guys enjoyed these fights, and I look forward to testing out some things in off-season and putting those up for y'all. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and take care.